What's up, Taiwan? How's it going? I'm Ethan Liu with 10 minutes of news from here in Taiwan and around the world. Taiwan's military has announced the newest addition to its navy, a locally designed and built Tuojiang-class corvette. The ship, named the Fujiang, is the third stealth corvette in its class. There are plans to produce 12 of them in total. The ships are smaller and more agile compared to the larger surface ships in Taiwan's navy and are designed to conduct stealth and quick attack missions. They're seen as part of a general shift by Taiwan toward relying on more mobile, lower-cost weapons platforms that remain highly capable, a strategy known as asymmetric warfare. For more on the latest developments in Taiwan's military, Jaime Ocon spoke to Paul Huang, a research analyst with the Taiwan Public Opinion Foundation.
Taiwan has been trying to develop its asymmetric warfare strategy. Is the development of this smaller and more stealthier ship a step forward towards that strategy?
Well, I wouldn't say it's a strategy that more than that. It's a product of Taiwan's own limitations, because this is as big a ship that Taiwan's domestic shipbuilding capability could afford us to build, and this is really a reflection of the severe limitation, what Taiwan is capable of. The biggest problem that's in my view, the Taiwanese Navy is facing right now is we have 20 plus something what's called the major surface combat combatants, the major surface ships, 4 destroyers and 20 something frigates. They are many of them are severely outdated, very old. Some that with some vessels, they're like more than 50 something years old, and that's a huge problem because they're aging. These aging vessels, and their equipments, the radar, the missile, the sensors, they're just not up to date, and they can't even defend themselves.
A poll from your organization, the Taiwan Public Opinion Foundation, conducted a survey asking if China was to conduct a war against Taiwan today, which side would win? What can you tell us about those results?
Well, it's so our poll indicates found that the majority of Taiwanese, they believe that when asked, they said China will likely win if a war breaks out with Taiwan tomorrow, and that's an indication of the lack of confidence in Taiwan's in Taiwan's defense, and also in Taiwan's the eventual victory, if you will. There's not a lot of faith there. Now, of course, the faith, the morale that itself might or might not have much to do with how much Taiwan can actually defend itself, because those factors, it's important to point out what our poll found. What this poll means is what Taiwanese think, how the Taiwanese the general public think. This doesn't reflect military reality. Of course, this has no connection with actual military reality. Of course, that is it really the case that Taiwan has no chance, that Taiwan will lose? Well, we don't know. But our poll found that the majority of Taiwanese, 51%, they said that China will likely win this war. Now that, I think, reflects more or less the reality that that military analysts, military assessments that they commonly have assumed.
Taiwan is scrapping quarantine for travelers coming into the country and is increasing the number of people who can enter. The new policy is divided into two stages. Starting on September 29th, the cap on international travelers entering the country will be raised to 60,000 a week, but people arriving will still have to undergo 3 days of quarantine. Beginning on October 13th, the cap on arrivals will be further increased to 150,000 a week with 0 days of mandatory quarantine. Arrivals will still need to undergo 7 days of health management, where people will have to monitor their own condition and report any COVID symptoms. Taiwan's central bank on Thursday raised the country's key interest rate for the third time this year. The latest rate hike of 12.5 basis points shows that inflation is still a major concern in the country, but the increase is not as large as the U.S. Federal Reserve's 75 basis point hike on Wednesday. Inflation is not as high in Taiwan as it is in the U.S. and Europe. The central bank also warned that the global economic downturn will hit Taiwan's exports. It dropped its economic growth forecast for this year to just over 3.5% and predicts economic growth will be even lower next year. A top Taipei university is expanding its catalog of courses taught in English amid a government push for bilingual education. Ryan Kilpatrick has the details.
At National Taiwan Normal University, or NTNU in Taipei, one of the growing number of classes taught in English. This semester, close to a fifth of the school's core curriculum courses are English taught. NTNU even opened a resource center for English medium instruction, creating a space that they hope will encourage the use of English on campus.
写作或口说的辅导，那所以我们也希望呢，透过这样一个很温馨的环境，让学生一走进来就很想要说英文。
Taiwan's Ministry of Education has set the goal for a quarter of second-year and master students at key schools to have intermediate-level English proficiency by 2024. NTNU's Language Training Center is designing the test that will measure their progress.
透过这样的检测的资料，我们可以建立台湾各个大学一些资料库，可以回馈到我们的大学的英语教学，还有哪些要加强，哪些要提升。
Taiwan aims to become a bilingual nation by 2030, with the aim of improving the public's English and making Taiwan more competitive. This policy also comes as a third of the country's universities face closure due to plummeting enrollment. Numbers of new students have dropped as much as 90% at some private colleges, which has been linked to Taiwan's shrinking and rapidly aging population. New English-taught programs could offer the sector a lifeline by bringing in international students. Ryan Kilpatrick for TaiwanPlus.
Taiwan's government has unveiled the commemorative items being released to mark this year's National Day celebration. Eric Gao has more.
Taiwan's October 10th National Day celebration is just a few weeks away, and the government has released the designs for this year's commemorative merchandise. Sitting atop the list are bucket hats, emblazoned with the silhouettes and coordinates of 4 lighthouses.
制作的灯塔是我们在最东边的三雕角灯塔，最西边的国盛灯塔，最南边的鹅銮鼻灯塔，跟最北边的富贵角灯塔。
The government says these lighthouses are symbolic as well as decorative, and the hats aren't the only items on offer.
所有设计跟制造都在台湾。灯塔意味着守护台湾的这个光，这个亮度。那保温的部分是依照台湾的精品，有着你我同行的味道。
There are also masks marked with the logo for this year's celebrations, which will be center stage at the National Day ceremony.
去年跟前年，在国庆大会的时候，我们大概都跟往年有最大的不一样，是把人数缩减到6000的，今年是回到1万。但是我们相关的防疫措施还是依照这个指挥中心所定的规定。
The items are not for sale though, and only 20 sets are available through a Facebook promotion. The event is meant to get people in the spirit as the 2-week countdown before the holiday begins. Damon Lin, John Van Trieste, and Eric Gao for TaiwanPlus.
And you can watch Taiwan's National Day celebrations in full on October 10th, right here on TaiwanPlus. Also want to thank you for watching today's What's Up Taiwan. Remember to download the TaiwanPlus app for more stories from Taiwan and around the world. Finally, today we leave you with images of a modern pentathlon competition in Ankara, Turkey. And they're hoping that a new obstacle course will replace the horse riding element for the 2028 Olympic Games. I'm Ethan. Take care, and I'll see you next time.